Okay, hello everyone. This is the video about the assignment one, first assignment. It's called the self-portrait. Basically, you're going to use your own photograph, but it's just basically an assignment to get you to utilize some of the different tools and effects in Photoshop, helping you get accustomed to the interface. It's posted here in Canvas with the detailed instructions, just to show you some examples of what the expectation is. These are some examples of what other students have done. Excuse me. It's just a matter of using effects and blending modes and filters. Basically, you're going to use a photograph of yourself and copy it 4 times on a canvas and demonstrate different effects on here. And I'll show you some examples. There's no right or wrong way to do it. There's a bunch of different options you can use to play with this. These are just some examples. Let's just take a look at that. Again, all this is just to demonstrate that you're using some of the tools in Photoshop. So I have the PDF, and also it is here in Canvas. Excuse me. So basically what it is, self-portrait grading criteria. Your first project is a self-portrait. Students must use your own image to create a collage of 4 images on a 8-inch by 8-inch canvas, 200 pixels per inch document, and I'll show you how to set that up. Students must use a high-resolution image to apply filter effects. Make sure you get a high resolution. If you take it off your iPhone or something, it should be fine, but just don't get some pixelated small image, okay? So you're going to use filter effects, blending modes, and other Photoshop tools demonstrated in this video that you're watching right now. You're going to turn in a working PSD file, save as your last name project 01 PSD file. Make sure that you include the layers. Do not flatten the file. If you don't know how to flatten it, don't worry about it. Those of you that do, I want to make sure, leave as is, turn in all the layers, just a regular PSD file. The layout must contain your name on all 4 images, just like this. You see how they put their name on each one? And you can play with the typography and the text if you want to change it up. That's fine. But put your name on all 4 images as a design element. Provide picture frames of your choice in all 4 images. You can see they've done different types, and I'll show you some examples of how to do that. You're going to create a new document, which is do File, New, and do an 8-inch by 8-inch at 200 pixels per inch resolution. So let's go ahead and start right here. First step. Okay, we're going to create a document 8-inch by 8-inch at 200 pixels per inch resolution. So I'm here in Photoshop. Go up here to File, drop down, New, or the shortcut Controller Command N. Same thing. Brings up the option, and we'll just call this Test Assign 1, just for that. And it's already filled out here. You'll put 8 by 8 inches. If it happens to say something else on here, centimeters, whatever, just make sure you go here and change it to inches. Put 8 inches here, 8 inches here. And it may already say 300, but we need to change it to 200 because that's what the assignment is requiring. Again, in graphic design, when you're working on projects for work and whatnot, or you're doing something for a client, they will provide you specs and you have to follow those. It's very important to follow directions, and even in all these assignments, make sure you follow all the directions and the specifications that are required, because that's part of your grade. But it also just teaches you to learn how to follow instructions, because it's very important. Everything else, leave it the same. Leave it RGB, 8-bit, white background. Leave it as is. Hit OK. So here we have the canvas laid out here. It's 8 inches by 8 inches, and you see you have a ruler up here. Shows the 8 inches here, 8 inches there. And we'll talk about the ruler at a later date, but just know that you have that option there. In layers, you only have one layer because there's all there is a background. It's automatically locked. And to check the dimensions, go up here to image, right down here, image size, and the shortcut, I'm in a PC, so it's Alt Control plus I. If you're in a Mac, it's Option Command I. I'll click that here. And here we show all the details. 8 inches by 8 inches at 200 pixels per inch. Okay, so we've got this part done, right? Let's go back to the PowerPoint. So next up, open a high-resolution image of yourself and crop it or resize the image to 4 inches by 4 inches at 200 ppi. You understand why we're doing that? It's already at 8 inches by 8 inches. We're going to make the photograph 4 inches by 4 to fit in here to make 4 quadrants, just like it is here. See, you can tell these are 4 inches by 4 inches. They all fit in here perfectly even. So you got to get an idea that's what we're trying to accomplish. So, remember how to open a document or open a file. We talked about in the other lecture video. Go here to Open or Controller Command O. Open. And let's see, we'll go to downloads. I have some pictures here. I just found this picture of some random person, and I'm going to double click that to open it. So here we have this picture of this guy. This is not me. It's just some random picture I found. And let's go ahead and check the size to see what size we have here. Sorry, image. So image drop down, image size. It's a good size picture. It's 26 inches by 14. Okay. Looks good, but we want to crop it, okay, down to 4 inches by 4 inches. And down here are the tools. This is the crop tool right here. It's also shortcut letter C, crop tool. And you'll have different options here: ratio, 1 by 1 square, 1 to 1 square, and whatnot. But I'll just put here width by height and resolution. So it's already set up here, but yours are not going to already say that. You have to key in 4 by 4, tab 4. You got that, but then say you want to move this person around a little bit. You don't want it off here. It's centered a little bit. It's done. Check, accept it. Okay, here we go. And it's locked over here. And always, every time you use a tool, always go back here and press the Move tool or the shortcut V. Every time you're done using a tool, always go back and press V to the Move tool. That's kind of your default tool that you move things around. And I'm going to unlock this. And what I want to do is copy this and paste it onto our document here that's 8 inches by 8 inches. Okay? So there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can either go up here to Edit, Copy, then click here on the tab, select the canvas, and then hit Paste. You even hit Paste and Paste Special, it'll paste in the place it was at, wherever. You can do that, or to undo it, Command or Control Z to undo, or you can just simply do this. Click the image, drag up here, over to the tab, drag down, there it is. Okay, so we dragged it here, but wait. Okay, so we're trying to recreate this in 4 quadrants. And wow, what's wrong? This looks too big. Look at it, at the measurement, it's 6 inches. Why is it 6 inches, but over here it's 4? I made it 4 inches. I did it right, but this is too big. This is not going to work. So I'm going to delete that. So what happened here? So back over to this image. Let's take a look at the size of it. So image drop down, image size. Do you see what's wrong? The first one we made was 8 inches by 8 inches at a 200 pixels per inch resolution. And this one here is at 300. So basically there's more pixels. This is a bigger size, even though it's 4 inches, but the pixel size is larger. So what I have to do is change this to 200. Hit OK. See, I made it smaller. And now when I drag this over, copy it, I can either drag it over like this, what we already did, or I can go here and copy, or the shortcut is Control or Command C, but I would just use the shortcut. I'm hitting Control C, go over here, and then the paste, either hit paste or Control V as in Victor. V. There we go. And look, nice in the corner. It fits perfectly, even where we can create 4 quadrants. Okay, so make sure you make note of that. Okay, so we did that, copy and paste this image to a new layer. We did that. So next what we want to do is make 3 copies of the layer and arrange them to fill the canvas. So we want to make 3 more copies of the image to fill it up, just like these examples, right? So there's a couple of different ways. I'm going to show you the quick way in a minute, but the slow way where you use the menu up here, make sure the image is selected. Anytime you're going to edit something, make sure in the layers it's selected. Right now, it's not selected. The background is selected. Make sure this is selected, or you can simply click it, the image, and it will select right here. Note, it's gray, it's selected, it's active. You can do the slow way, and you go up here to Layer, drop down. It says New. Down here, Layer via Copy. Click this, it'll make a copy, or a shortcut, Control or Command plus J. And you see I have 2 of them. You say, where are they at? I only see one. It's because they're on top of each other in the same place. So if I click on the one on the top, I can drag it over. And there it is. We have 2 of them. Okay, that's nice. The shortcut again, I went up here either to Layer, New, Layer via Copy, but that's a little too cumbersome for me. I am just going to do the shortcut, Control or Command J, and look, you see it added. There's another one. There's 3 of them, but this one on top is obviously here. Move it down, and there we go. So we're starting to fill this up. But how I normally work, I don't like doing all this drop down. The quicker, the better. So say we're back here to just 1. And as you'll notice, moving forward in Photoshop, there are multiple different ways to do the same thing. But here, quick way is I have 1 copied here. And then if you're on a PC, hold down Alt. If you're on a Mac, Option. You see how that my cursor changed? Right now it's just a pointer. Now hold on the Alt or Option key. It changes. There's 2 arrows, a dark one and a white one. Now just drag this over and it makes a copy. And then hold down the Alt or Option key, drag this down, makes a copy. Hold down the Alt or Option key, drag this over, makes a copy. It snaps it into place. Or hitting Control Command Z, undo. I can even do even quicker. I made 1 copy here and then go over here, hold down Shift key and select both of these where they're both selected. Hold down the Shift key, select both of them, hold down the Alt or Option key, drag down, and it copies both of them. There we go. Okay, we have 4. We filled it in. I've given you a few different options to do that. But just to let you know, when you do take Digital Imaging 2, Photoshop 2, these key shortcuts do not work on the Adobe certification test, which you will be taking in Digital Imaging 2. Not in here, but Digital Imaging 2 you will. And in that test, you have to use everything from the drop-down menus, which doesn't make much sense because the shortcuts are quicker and more effective, but that's just how it is, just so you know, that's coming down the road. Anyway, so we did that. Yeah, four copies of the picture, arranging to cover the image. Now we want to use some filters, blending modes, and other techniques. You must provide picture frames and a border to enhance enhancements of your choice. So a couple of different ways to do that. Back up here to the Move tool, let's select that. Let's select the first image here. Remember how the layers works? It's a hierarchy, so the one on top is the layer that's on top, and you can also check them here with the eye. This is the visibility. If you turn the eye off, you can't see it. It makes them invisible. We'll just start with this bottom one here. We'll go with filters. So let's play with some filters. Go up here to your menu. See where it says filter. click that. And let's go to Filter Gallery. And here you have many different options to play with. This one here is a charcoal, halftone pattern, plaster, watercolor. I mean, just look at all these. There's, and I want you to play around with these to see everything you have to your access. So that's the purpose of this assignment, is to get you just to play around with these different options and see what all you have accessible to you. And also here, you select something, like I have stained glass, and you can pick the tile size, make them bigger or smaller. How wide is the grout width? You know, the grout, the spaces between the plates here. Lighten the grout, darken it. And all these are different. You can play with this, the charcoal thickness. Every filter you click, this changes, and you can add or put more detail and just change its appearance. So I want to see you playing around with this stuff, okay? We'll just stick with this for now. Once you get what you like, hit OK. So there's one. And let's go to another one. Same thing, click it, go up to Filter, Filter Gallery, pick another one. Stained glass. Okay, that looks strange. Make it look more realistic. Border thickness, I don't like that. Okay, good enough. Okay. What else were you asking for? Filters, blending modes. Okay, so how blending modes works, these are blending modes right here. And this can affect how your image looks. A lot of these don't really work so well when it's just one image. However, if you put two images on top of each other, it makes a big difference. So I'm going to show you that. I'm here to downloads. I have this brick wall, and every time you drop something in here, you can open up a window here and just simply drag this over, just like that. And let's move this over. I have it. Hit the check mark to accept it. So the brick wall is behind the picture right here. Select that picture. Now play with the blending modes. See that? Bunch of different options. Okay, good enough. And again, you can put other backgrounds. So I select this image and I want to put this, I have a picture of some trees. Move those over. Okay, that's in front of that. You can either hit the Enter key or the check mark to accept it. Now the blending modes with a tree, I can put the tree either on top or because right now if you look on the layers over here, the tree is on top of this picture of this guy. If I want the man on top, just move this up. Now he's on top. Or vice versa, trees on top. Let's play with these blending modes. Doing some different strange things. Of course, this is experimentation. Experimentation. That's all this is. I want you to play around. Even if you want to look up some tutorials, feel free to do that. And it's also asking to put borders on here. There's a couple of different ways you can do that. So I'll select this picture here. And we have down here what are called basically a layer style or layer effects. So when you have this layer, I have this picture of this guy selected, and when I click on FX and I click one of these, it will affect this picture only. And I'm going to pick stroke. Excuse me. Stroke is basically what's around the edge of an object. And I have a yellow one. And also pay attention here. You see it says position. It says inside. If I do outside, half of it's off the page. So in order to keep it in the constraint of these 4 pictures, always put it on the inside so it fits right there. You can change the color to whatever you want. Have a nice little magenta frame. You can change the size of how big you want it. And then down here, you have the fill type. Right now it's a regular color, or you can do a gradient. And I'm not going to get into details about gradients. We will talk about that later, but you do have that option if you want to play around with it. You can. Or a pattern. There's different patterns to choose from on here. You can also add patterns on here, but again, that's another class. We're not going to get into that. I don't want to overwhelm you too much with all this. So you have that. There's a border. Then there's another option. Click this here. And let's go over here to the toolbar. Select rectangle tool. And you see your mouse turns into a crosshair here. Just simply click. Well, if it does that, hold down the Alt or Option key. So it'll follow what you're doing for real time. Release it so you have a square. I don't want it white, I just want the border, which is the stroke. So go back up here to look at this, where we talked about this prior. This changes depending on which tool is selected. So the fill is the color of the entire object. I want nothing on there, which will be right here. See that you either pick different colors. See it's changing, but I want this here with a line, nothing. Nothing there. Now you see the stroke, there's no stroke, but I want to change that. I'll make it, say, blue. And you can change the size of it. And the reason we're doing this is it's the same thing as what we did here, but we have more options here. You can change it to a like this, a dotted size, making it bigger or larger. Sorry, right here. Let's change that color. Let's make it black. Okay. So you see that? Now you have a dotted line, or dashes, a dashed line. Okay. And say you want to make this smaller. You can edit it by going to Image. Edit, Transform, or Command or Control T, which I normally use that shortcut, but Command or Control T. And now you have options to make this, change this size. In order to keep it centered, hold down the Alt or Option key. And Alt or Option key and the Shift key. It'll keep it center. Hit J. There we go. So multiple different options. I want you to see you put a border on each one. Again, this is not a difficult assignment. It's just more or less getting you comfortable with the interface and different tools. That's really all this is. And if you're more advanced, feel free to take this even more detailed. For example, like this picture of this person here. If I wanted to rotate it or something and go here to Edit, Free Transform, or hit Control or Command T, so it's active, I can either play with the picture this way, or when the Transform tool is selected, right-click it, and you can have different options here if you want to play around with these, or flip it or rotate it. Let's say flip it horizontal. Now it's reversed. So you have that option. And if you want to get even more detailed and say I want to make a copy of this and drag it on top of the other one, I'm going to hold down Alt or Option to drag this over to this one and play with some blending modes on this. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. I just want to see you utilize different tools. And It also is requiring you to use your name as a design element, so type in your name. And to do that, it is right here. See the T or the shortcut, just press the letter T, but this accesses the type tool. Then just click an area and type in anything. And you can change the typeface, the font up here. Just double click this to select it all, and you can change it to whatever typeface you prefer. Once you accept it, hit the check mark. And once you accept that, go back to the move tool. You're going to always go back to the move tool. You can click this and move it. Because if you still have the type tool activated and you try to move this, you see it's trying to make you give you an option to change the text, but you don't want to do that. You want to move it. So click the move tool and drag it around here. Again, if you try different typefaces and fonts, hit T for the type tool, click here, I'll type name again, double click it to select it all, pick a different typeface, accept it. Now go back here to the letter V, or to the move tool, drag it here, and also you can change the size of it too. The shortcut, edit, Control or Command T. I'm just going to hit Control T. Now I activated this, and I can make it smaller or hold down the Option key and Alter Option key and do that, or hold down the Shift key, stretch it out like that. Or if you look here, see the arrows change, you can rotate it. So with that being said, feel free to look up, if you want to look up some other tutorials, and if you want to go the extra mile, going ahead. It's just a matter of getting you comfortable with this layout. Again, it's pretty basic, but it's just for your own learning. So that's what you got to do. And once you're done, I want you to hit save. Save. It'll pop up here. I got it named. I will save it on your computer. I'm not saving it to the cloud. I'm going to save it on my computer, and I'll just save it here in downloads, and save it as a Photoshop document, a PSD document. Okay, not these other ones. A PSD Photoshop document. Save. Okay. And then when I go back to right here, it shows right here it's a Photoshop document. Test assignment PSD. That shows that's the proper way of saving it. And once it's done, you'll just upload it here. And here's the grading criteria. Actually, I'm sorry, let me go over this as well too. Make sure you rename the layers as image 01, image 02, 03, 04. So how you do that is go over to each image. Like here's this image right here. How do I change the name? Just double click it right there. Put image 01, then hit enter, save it. Or right click it. You can change the name here, but it's easier just to double click that. Image 02, enter, save. Image 03, and so forth. And as we're moving forward, I will talk about in more detail about how to organize your layers, because it's very important to organize the layers. Because once you start working on a project, when there's 50 different layers, you got to start working on grouping them and organization. But again, we'll talk about that at a later date. But right now, just make sure all the images are labeled as discussed here. Image 01, image 02, 03, and 04. Make sure the project is saved correctly, which I just showed you as a PSD. Project has the correct dimensions, and the use of a high-resolution image of yourself should be at 200 pixels per inch. So again, to test it out, go up here to image size. Okay, it's 8 inches by 8 inches, which is required. 200 pixels per inch. Okay, I'm good to go. That means it's ready. Complete all the assignment requirements. Degree of difficulty attempted. Really, put a lot of experimentation in this. Don't just go and do one filter and that's it. Put a lot into this because it's better for your grade, but also too it helps you understand this. Composition and originality of the final layout and border choice. This is where you get with your creative approach. Okay. The main thing you'll do a good grade is if you follow the directions and test out a bunch of different filters and effects on here, and you'll be good to go. If there's any questions, please let me know, and also make sure you pay attention to what the due date is and time. Turn that in. Any questions, email me in Canvas and let me know. Okay, thanks a lot.